In the digital age, where technology permeates every aspect of our lives, the weakest link in cybersecurity is often not a piece of software or hardware, but rather the human being behind the keyboard. Social engineering exploits this vulnerability by manipulating people into divulging confidential information or performing actions that compromise security. Unlike traditional hacking, which relies on technical skills to breach systems, social engineering leverages psychological tactics to deceive and persuade individuals. Understanding how these attacks work and how to guard against them is essential for both organizations and individuals seeking to protect sensitive data and maintain digital safety. At its core, social engineering is all about manipulation. Hackers who employ these tactics understand that trust, curiosity, fear, and urgency are powerful motivators. By crafting scenarios that trigger these emotions, they can convince even cautious individuals to act against their better judgment. One of the most common forms of social engineering is phishing, in which attackers send emails or messages that appear to come from legitimate sources, such as banks, employers, or popular services. These messages often contain urgent requests, such as verifying account information or resetting a password, and typically include links to fraudulent websites designed to steal credentials. Phishing has evolved over time, becoming increasingly sophisticated. Today's attackers use personalized information gleaned from social media or data breaches to craft messages that seem authentic and relevant. This technique, known as spear phishing, targets specific individuals or organizations, making it much harder to spot than generic phishing attempts. For instance, an employee might receive an email that appears to come from their boss, requesting sensitive documents or a wire transfer. The attacker's knowledge of internal company structures and terminology lends credibility to the request, increasing the likelihood of compliance. Another prevalent tactic is pretexting, where the attacker invents a scenario or pretext to obtain information or access. For example, someone might call a company's help desk pretending to be an executive who has forgotten their login credentials. By sounding authoritative and referencing internal details, the attacker can persuade support staff to bypass normal security procedures. Similarly, vishing, voice phishing, involves phone calls where attackers pose as representatives from trusted institutions such as banks or government agencies to extract personal or financial information. Tailgating and physical social engineering also play significant roles in compromising security. In these cases, attackers exploit human politeness or the desire to be helpful to gain physical access to restricted areas. A common example is following closely behind an authorized employee as they enter a secure building, relying on the assumption that few people will challenge someone who appears to belong. Once inside, the attacker can access unattended computers, steal devices, or plant malicious hardware. The success of social engineering hinges on exploiting predictable human behaviors and cognitive biases. People tend to trust authority figures, respond to urgent requests, and avoid conflict or embarrassment. Attackers manipulate these tendencies through carefully crafted communication, often using language that induces panic, excitement, or a sense of obligation. For example, an email warning that your bank account will be locked unless you act immediately creates a sense of urgency that can override rational decision-making. Defending against social engineering requires a multi-layered approach that combines technological safeguards with education and awareness. Technical controls such as spam filters, multi-factor authentication, and endpoint protection can help reduce the risk of successful attacks, but they are not foolproof. Human vigilance remains the most effective defense. Regular training sessions that simulate real-world social engineering scenarios can teach employees how to recognize suspicious requests, verify identities, and report potential threats. One crucial aspect of prevention is fostering a culture of skepticism and verification. Employees should be encouraged to question unexpected requests, especially those involving sensitive information or financial transactions. Simple practices like confirming requests through a separate communication channel, such as calling a known number rather than replying to an email, can thwart many attacks. Organizations should also establish clear protocols for handling sensitive data and ensure that all staff members understand and follow them. Awareness of common social engineering techniques is vital for individuals as well. Recognizing the signs of phishing emails, such as misspelled URLs, generic greetings, or unusual requests, can prevent inadvertent disclosure of personal information. It's important to be cautious about sharing details on social media, as attackers often use publicly available information to tailor their attacks. Regularly updating passwords, enabling two-factor authentication, and monitoring account activity are additional steps that can mitigate the impact of a successful attack. Incident response planning is another key element in reducing the damage caused by social engineering. Despite best efforts, some attacks will inevitably succeed. Having a clear plan for identifying, containing, and recovering from security breaches ensures that organizations can respond quickly and effectively. This includes procedures for notifying affected parties, preserving evidence, and conducting post-incident reviews to identify lessons learned and improve future defenses. Ultimately, the battle against social engineering is ongoing and constantly evolving. As technology advances, so too do the tactics employed by attackers. Artificial intelligence, deepfakes, and other emerging tools are making it easier to impersonate trusted individuals and create convincing, fraudulent communications. Staying ahead of these threats requires continuous education, vigilance, and adaptation. In conclusion, social engineering remains one of the most potent weapons in a hacker's arsenal, precisely because it targets the human element, a factor that is difficult to secure with technology alone. By understanding the methods attackers use and adopting proactive strategies to counter them, both individuals and organizations can significantly reduce their vulnerability. Building a strong security culture, emphasizing verification, and maintaining awareness are essential steps in protecting against the subtle yet powerful manipulations of social engineering.